Hello and welcome to today's session. We've got the DAX, trading the DAX as always. We've got about 10 minutes till open and we're going to run through some of the pre-market analysis. We do have a triple, I guess like the triple bars, top and bottom, and we are currently rejecting off the R1 high and breakout long confluence here. So really strong indication that we may range today. Obviously there's the opportunity that we could go outside of the levels, but ideally what happens is the market stays within this top band and bottom band. We've got the breakout short and previous day's high. There should be another level in there as well. Just have to zoom in to actually see it because they're so close together, which is a good sign that there's a lot of confluence in these areas. People are hopefully looking at the same prices we're looking at. And then obviously over here on the depth of market and order flow, we may be able to identify areas of price that will be more suitable than just blind buying or selling off these levels. So basically we're going to watch for the market open. I'm going to go through the different time frames, but essentially we're just looking at these triple bands, top and bottom. If we break out and it's impulsive, perhaps we can take a look. But other than that, I'm really hoping it's going to stay in these bands, aim for that close price. So obviously the market's probably not going to get down below the close price before the open, and we're going to be able to come and hit this close gap from up here. What we don't want to happen is the market to continue to fall in the next 8 minutes because it ruins our risk-reward ratio, and then our stop has to be further away to allow for any rejections off this level where we expect sellers to congregate. So ideal situation as normal, basically the same setup over and over as we want it to pull away from our target. We'll get in off one of these levels, watching the order flow for any big orders. So we can see up here 13 ask side orders after fairly thin order flow across the price below that level. So it got up to 23,800. It didn't quite see the push it was probably looking for, but there might have been some stops just above at 23,802. And those limit orders have been hit, and then the market's come down. So that's the kind of activity we're looking for on the order flow, and we're looking for the prices to be met on the pivot points before we start looking too deeply at the order flow on both the full contracts, so FDAX U5 and the FDAX MU5, which is the minis. So we'll be trading on the full contracts because it is a 300k account for this Apex Trader Funding challenge. And on Friday last week, I think I closed out at about $1,000. I was able to pull another $800 out of the market. So I'll quickly show you what I was looking at there. We'll see if it'll let me just have a look at what happened. So we had really nice rejections off this previous day's high around the open. The market continued to fall. There was perhaps some okay buying opportunities off that close gap for about 10 to 15 minutes. And then the market simply tumbled from there. There might have been an okay buy off that pivot as well. Would have taken a little bit of heat, according to the next candle at least anyway. But some okay buying opportunity. And then again, I didn't get in here because I was waiting for these levels to be hit, but really good buying opportunity. We saw on the order flow that there was some serious orders coming in at these prices, and that formed that wick for us to basically push higher. I didn't take these buys down here because I don't want to get into a long in the middle of nowhere. I want to wait for the market to tell me when it's okay to actually start buying based on the levels. So it was quite a good day, good week. I think that was 2 days of trading. We got to 1,800 towards the 20k profit total, and we'll see what we can make today. Obviously, if we get a nice textbook kind of setup today off these levels, then I'll be looking to short towards that close gap. Obviously being wary that the market can always go up against us and just protecting ourselves if it doesn't work out. I don't think it's necessarily an ultimate trading setup, but I think it's fairly high quality. If we do start to see this kind of activity where the ask price, there's no order flow, similar to this kind of situation actually. So there's no orders, and then there's a big ask order, which indicates that there's some sellers entering the market via a limit order. If that's then followed by a lot of bid side activity after this fact, and it's people pushing down the market, seeing this indication, and then pushing that market lower, basically adjusting the supply and demand of the market. So again, as always, just waiting for another 3 minutes thereabouts until the market opens. If we break above this, obviously we're going to have to just watch what the market does. I don't want to get into a trade that I don't fully know what's going on. I want to be able to adapt, but I'm going to wait for better indications of what's going on. But for the moment, I'm just looking for a nice short at the open off these levels towards this close gap, being wary of any just blind buying that often does happen on the DAX. So I've been caught in it many times. It's something that you've just got to really be wary of and be ready to exit the market if the situation occurs. So really just waiting for another 2 minutes thereabouts. I'll go over the larger time frames. Got a red candle on the monthly. Got a weekly, a couple of candles turning up on the weekly. Got the daily. It's really in a channel here on the daily chart, kind of at the highs, so that supports our claim that we may go short. Got 2 minutes to go, but nothing on the Bollinger Bands. On the 4 hour, looks pretty good, but we're not near the Bollinger Bands. Again, some wicks on previous pricing around this area, so this is almost like a zone that we're looking for in terms of price, which again points in our favor potentially. The 1 hour is Bollinger Band is on our pricing, which is great. That suggests we should also go short. 30 minute same, 15 minute very similar to the 1 hour, and I'll just see if I can get over, bring this over a bit. Okay, so we're back on the 5 minute now. I'm just going to pull the chart to where we need to be, and I'll be watching for that open. We've got 1 minute to go. I just really want to see what happens. We've got 12 contracts there, really nice. I'm hoping this isn't it, because that's a perfect entry there. If that happened at the open, it would have been absolutely amazing, but we'll just have to see. I don't like getting in before that, because sometimes a whole heap of buy orders could come in and flood the market. So I just want to stick to my rule. I've sort of jumped in early too many times, and it's just not worth it sitting in the wrong trade, taking heat just because you wanted to get in before the market opens. The only time that I do that is when the market is outside of these purple levels in the pre-market. This does look like selling here. We've got obviously the limits, and then followed by the bid orders coming in, indicating aggressive selling. We've got 4 seconds to go. Hands on the sell at market. I'm in for one contract, but I am concerned about a big, powerful spike up like that. May have just washed out any weak hands and see if this level holds. Just watching the market play out at this point. Okay, we're a few hundred up. We need to break this structure below, otherwise we're coming back up, I would say. So we really need it to push down a little bit stronger than what it is right now. That could be some aggressive buying, thin capitalization here. We may not hang in there. So I've got one contract on the ask side I want to get out. So I took a few $100s on that one. I think we're going to come back up just for a little bit. I don't think we're quite ready to break this structure here just yet. So we're going back up now to watch the order flow and see if there's any indication that we're going to come back down again. Now the reason I got out was because I felt as though this wasn't going to break. So it's really just about reading the market, getting a feel for what's going to happen. The past, I guess, week, that is what happened. So it kind of came down, looked like it was a really good short, but it didn't actually go. Good morning, Treklord. Thanks for joining. Had a nice weekend. How was yours? So it looks like the market's holding off. It's holding this price level. So I'm tempted to get in if that's probably it. It's a lot of limit orders by the look of that. Alternatively, that could be people breaking out long and looking for a long entry from this point, but I'm hoping, based on the price action, that we're going to hold at this price, but it may not be the case. So I'm in for one contract and hoping for a reaction. The market's kind of trying to figure out what's going on at this point. We're at a critical juncture here, where if we keep going higher, it's going to spook any short people. Hoping to pass, that's great. Are you on track to hit the target? Okay, so this is very strong activity here. Really need a big, strong ask figure to come in up here. So the 33 wasn't enough to kind of push the market back the other way. We're not getting massive aggressive selling on this side. So we just got to see. Obviously, it's okay to take a bit of heat. That's the other thing I need to think is you've just got to sit there and take your time with these markets. They don't always just go in your favor. There's potentially millions of participants in this market, all trading for different reasons, different time frames. So just because you think the market should turn around at a certain price point, there's many factors that may slow the reaction to what you're thinking should happen. So it's also about being patient. Really just watching this, hoping this level will hold and sort of break down properly. Because if it doesn't break down properly, there's every chance this breakout long level may live up to its name and will be sort of heading up towards the R2, which by no means I want to sit in. Now we've got a huge packet here of 66. That's on the bid side. It could well be a limit buyer pushing the market long, but it could be potentially an aggressive seller. I think it's hard to tell what direction these guys on the 66 and the 26 are thinking to go. So they've perhaps got a limit order over this way, and then they've aggressively sold the market is what I'm hoping has happened. That may not be the case. Yeah, that's the great thing, especially with the 80% discount. You can always just buy an account and it's super cheap. You do save yourself quite a bit of time if you have the ability to, figure out the right trades and navigate the market quite well. So we're really sitting in this structure. We haven't broken it just yet. That first candle was fairly bullish overall in a sense on the 5 minute, and we've just entered a new 5 minute candle. Ideally, this will break this structure lower, but it's also about understanding what these big figures here are. Really hoping that they are sellers and they're going in the same direction as us, because if they're buyers, there's a lot more chance that they will control the market a lot more than some of the other players currently participating in this market. If you enjoy these sessions, guys, as well, give me a like. It does sort of help when you support me, and just give me a like on the video. Really makes it worth coming back and sharing my insights and experience in trying to pass these accounts. Sometimes you'll come across different errors that you may not come across yourself, and that way you can avoid them in the future. So hopefully you do find these sessions quite valuable. And basically just commentating these sessions. It's really hanging in there. To me, this kind of looks like aggressive buying. So, somebody's actually saying, all right, well, it's not going down. I'm going to actually start buying because of all this red activity. We've got a massive potential limit buy there. So we've really just got to see if the market is going to respect these levels and target this close gap, or if it's just going to be a bullish day. It is a Monday as well. It's the middle of the week. One thing to think about is sometimes the market is bullish on a Monday, because it's the start of a new week. Perhaps they've sold all their positions on a Friday. They wanted to bank their commissions. This is people at hedge funds, that kind of thing, and they're starting the new week completely fresh, meaning they may want to be buying into the market. So that can sometimes influence the situation. It'd be great to have all our viewers keep coming back. We do have pretty good, I guess there's a few people keep coming back each week, so thank you, Trek Lord. I appreciate that a lot. And consistency, I'm usually on every day. I usually start at about 10:02 now, so it gives me just enough time to go through the markets, have a bit of a chat, but not too much time. I think 1:45 was a bit early, and there was about 5 minutes that didn't really need to be there. That looks solid. 23, potential aggressive buying, because it kind of pushed the market lower fairly swiftly. Any buyers might sort of be thinking, oh, okay, maybe that wasn't the play. And we've got that thin movement, so people are kind of pushing the market lower. And hopefully that will continue. Hopefully it's not just a fake out. And I'm trying to be a little more patient than I have been previously. So I'm going to try and let my analysis, excuse me, going to try and let my analysis speak for itself here. There is every chance that my analysis is wrong. The market may be bullish and just ignore all these levels. There's always things like news and other factors at play. Sometimes a company, one of the blue chips might come into play and say, right, we're worth a lot more, and then funds flow in. It affects the index overall. But ultimately, off the basis of valuation and how this looks, it looks like it's going to go down. So I'm going to trust my instincts here and hope, but also be wary that if it does go up, I will have to get out, but I'm not going to get out for profit too early. We've taken already, I think, $300 earlier, so that's in the realized P&L. So we had a nice little short at that opening bar, which was good. I'm just going to try and stay with it and hang in there. So it's not my favorite thing to do, and that's the hard part of trading, is letting the market take the price in the direction you want it to go. It's not just about hitting the button and making a quick buck. It's about weathering the storm and waiting it out for the market to go in your direction when all the analysis points that way. The moment it doesn't start to point in your favor, and there's technicals and reasoning as to why the market may go the other direction, then that changes it. So at the moment, it looks to me like we should go down towards that close gap. I'm going to do my best to hang in there and hold this trade. So we've got 66, we've got 23, 38, 19. There's a lot more what looks like aggressive sellers, and it's not really a price where people would be looking to go in at a buy limit. That could be aggressive buying there. So 15, we've got 20. There's a bit of a battle playing out here. Is this kind of it? So I'm just watching if they can push through this a lot further, get down to this structure where we got out at the first trade and breach that. Just like that. If we can breach this price, there we go. So we're looking at 700 euro. I'm going to probably just take that. Sort of bounce back up. I'm just going to try and hold this a little bit longer, I think. No, I want to get out of that. So we just saw 225 contracts pop up out of nowhere. We pushed down, we rejected off these lows, and then two big 25 players came in, which says to me that there's somebody may be buying at this price. So I didn't want to necessarily hang around and experience this pullback that we're seeing now. I wanted to get straight out, take my money off the table. So we're sitting at 825 profit for today. And then plus last week's 1800, so we're sitting at 2,700 odd. I'm not sure that I'll want to get back in. I think this is me done for today. So 825 for one day. If we multiply that out across 20 accounts, if we were able to get 20 fully funded 300Kers, 20 by 800, that's some seriously good money for what has been sitting here 20 minutes, but the market's been open for 13. So pretty happy with that. 2,700. We're about, we've got to do that another 9 times. So if we can keep repeating this process, that would be pretty cool. The price action, I think it's been okay. It's probably not my preferred way how it's actually been going. I think we're going to break lower here. It's going to accelerate really fast if we do, but we've got some buyers here holding this market up. Often, sometimes you'll get a really good DAX trade that just goes in your favor and bounces off one of these levels with real some serious just rejection. So the activity of late has been a bit sort of floundery. It hasn't been super decisive, but with the help of the order flow, it's been quite good in a sense of, we're just figuring it out. We can kind of hang in there, and then when we see these massive contracts come in all of a sudden out of nowhere, that told me that there's some other activity at play. So buyers came in, we pushed back up higher. I got out at the right price, and I didn't want to sort of experience that drawdown. And, that's 34, 36. I think we're going to go down from here. Just going to maybe go one more sell. I'm not, we've got a trend line kind of flowing up this way. I'm not too sure I want to kind of experience the bounce off that. We've already had a good day. I'm going to probably hold off for the moment on getting in, but yeah, this is the kind of activity. We've got 50 contracts likely going short. This could have actually been some stop losses for buyers. So they put their stop loss just below these sort of levels down here. They got clipped, saw a bit of a pullback, and now the market's just powering down. We've got 39 contracts here. We just hit the mid band on the 5 minute. We're seeing some retracement. It doesn't quite make sense to me. So there's a chance that that was a buy limit, but it's not followed by a lot of ask side activity after the fact. So there's nothing really pushing it too high. It looks like there's some sellers that are going to continue pushing this market down, but at the moment, obviously it's going up. So it looks like it's quite thin. People aren't ready to buy or sell decisively just at the moment. We have rejected off this. There's every chance we could get up to these levels again. And this is the kind of thing that I didn't want to sit through and wait and hope. So yeah, well, 825, I thought it was 850, but yeah, 825 for the trading session. Unless I see something really decisive, really undeniably powerful that says I'm going short, I'm probably not going to trade again. But thanks everyone for joining. It's really great to see you back, Shreklord, and anyone else. I think I've got a couple of accounts to give away on the Apex Trader funding. So before I close off, feel free to send through a comment or through the chat, I should say, and see if you want a free account, just get active. All you do is then email me, and I'll send you the code for a free Apex account. Mind you, it is 80% off right now, so it's really quite good. You're only paying 20% of the actual cost to go into an evaluation. And for those of you just joining now, I basically we're up 800 for the trading session and just commentating the market for the moment until we see something that's really decisive to help us determine what's actually going on. The interesting thing, I guess, down here as well is we're watching both the full DAX and the DAX Mini, and just trying to determine if there's any discrepancies between the two. But ultimately, the main DAX index is where the major players will be, because it's more money. There's more going on. So that's a really, I guess, strong rejection off this Bollinger Band. If we got all the way back up to these levels, there may be a good reason to get short if we see it on the order flow. Again, I'm happy with today's trading. Left a little bit of money on the table, but we did have a really strong rejection because of this volume here, and I was happy to get out where I got out. So good day all in all. I guess 2,700 towards the 20k, so we're a little over 10% to target. And if I see a massive ask side order up here, because you've probably got some Fibonacci retracement sellers up here, so looking to target the gap, they're waiting for this pullback to get back into their trades, but we need some indication that they're actually going to get in. So on your CFD charts, you're flying blind. On your order flow, you can see exactly who's getting in, who's getting out on the actual futures exchange, because it's centralized. All the data flows through one exchange. On the CFDs, you don't see who's at play, but also the price feed isn't necessarily centralized. It's a made market. Just watching this last little candle, and then I'll pack up. But yeah, thank you guys for coming along. We'll be back again tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have another positive day, but what I'm expecting is this market will head down towards the close gap. Perhaps even the S1 will reject for a long off that S1, probably back up to the close. So we'll have sort of a zigzagging motion within these I call them triple bands. So 3 levels up the top, 3 levels down the bottom. You can barely see it because they're so tight. And then we've got the pivot and close very much in the middle of those triple bands. So that's what I'm expecting. The market will just go down and then back up. But of course, the market may not do that. It could just continue higher and sort of drift up. As far as certain trading, or as certain as I could depict, I am done. I'm quite happy for the day. And as I mentioned, if you had 20, so the maximum accounts of the Apex at 300k, all funded, and then you made 825 on 1 times 20, you'd be sitting very nicely. Excellent Trek Lord. So going long, I think going long on the indices, if you can find a good point to get in, it's a much better way to go, because generally the markets, or the index markets, have a long bias. So the amount of times you'll be right, or you'll be able to weather the storm based on, I guess, depending on your drawdown limits, then you'd be sitting very nicely. Bit of activity up here, but yeah, not really something I want to get back in on. I've had my win. It's not an undeniable setup at this point. I'm quite happy with what's happened. That's it from me today, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.